The night split open with a scream. Not the kind born from fear, but from something deeper, something ancient. Under the mango tree behind Mama Ebeli's house, the women held their breath. The moonlight trembled on their faces, and every shadow seemed alive. Someone whispered a prayer. Someone else spat into the dust. In the center of the circle, Chika lay half naked, thrashing on the ground, his body slick with sweat. His mother knelt beside him, shaking, calling his name, Chika. My son, what is this, But no one dared touch him. Because when they did, when they tore the cloth to free his legs, they saw it. Something moved beneath his skin, slithering, twisting, alive. The old herbalist, Baba Orji, stepped forward slowly, his staff tapping the earth like a drumbeat. His eyes were old as thunderclouds, his voice a dry whisper. Greater than, it's not sickness, he said. It's revelation. A wind rose then, strange and sudden. The night smelled of wet soil and iron. Even the crickets went silent. And as Chika's body stiffened, a voice that was not his own escaped his mouth, low, deep, and ancient. Greater than, they fed me lies, now they will taste the truth. The women scattered, crying, abomination. And, God forbid, Mama Ebeli fell to her knees, her hands trembling, her heart breaking, because she knew that voice. It was the same tone her husband had used the night before he vanished, 15 years ago. By dawn, the whole village of Obinagu had heard the whispers. They said the boy with charm in his blood had finally been revealed. But Chika just sat in silence, staring at the dying embers of the night fire. He was 27, strong shoulders, quiet eyes. The kind of man women looked at twice, but feared a little. Not because he was cruel, no, because there was something unreadable in him. Something too calm for his age. He worked as a carpenter, hands rough from shaping wood into beauty. He built chairs for chiefs and coffins for strangers. When the saw bit through timber, it was the only time he smiled. Wood doesn't lie, he used to say. Only people do. Chika grew up without a father. The man had disappeared one night during a heavy rain, leaving behind only a broken walking stick and debts. People said he'd run away with another woman. Others said the forest had taken him. Mama Ebeli raised Chika alone, selling palm oil and doing laundry for traders. She carried her pain like a bundle she refused to drop. She never spoke of her husband. Never. But every few months, Chika would wake in the middle of the night, sweating, heart racing, from the same dream. He was a child again, standing near the old river shrine. A deep hiss echoed behind him. Then a voice whispered, greater than, blood remembers, even when men forget. He would wake, trembling, his mother sitting quietly in the corner, rosary in hand. Sometimes she'd murmur, sleep, my son. Some dreams are not for morning. In the daylight, Chika tried to live normally. He joked with the apprentices. He attended weddings. He even courted a days, the market girl with laughter like bells. But there were things he could not explain, animals that grew restless near him, snakes that seemed drawn to his path. Once, a python crawled into his workshop and lay coiled near his feet, unmoving, watching him. The villagers came running, shouting to kill it. But the snake slid away, slowly, as if obeying him. That day, Baba Orji watched from afar and said quietly, greater than, some men inherit land. Others inherit spirits. The question is, which one will own the other? Chika tried to laugh it off. But deep inside, he knew something followed him, not evil exactly, but older than any name he knew. And when he looked at a daze, he felt a pull, not just of love, but of warning. Because sometimes, when she touched him, the dreams came stronger. Still, he wanted a normal life. Marriage, children, a chance to build more than coffins. But destiny never asks permission. The rain started on a Thursday. Not the usual soft drizzle that blesses the yam fields, no. This one came with anger. Lightning split the sky in crooked veins, and thunder rolled over the hills like drums calling spirits to war. That same evening, Adase's father called a meeting. He was a proud man, Chief Obadike, the owner of half the market stalls. When Chika came to ask for his daughter's hand, the old man laughed so loud the goats outside startled. Greater than, a carpenter. He said, you want to marry my Adase? Can your saw feed her? Can your hammer build her destiny? Chika smiled politely, lowering his eyes, hiding the sting. Greater than, I may not have gold, sir. But I have peace in my hands. The chief waved him away. Peace doesn't buy cloth or rice. Go and find your match elsewhere. Adase cried that night, her hands trembling as she tried to hold his. Greater than, we'll find a way, Chika, she whispered. My father will come around. He only nodded, staring at the rain lashing against the roof. Something in him had gone quiet, too quiet. That same night, he returned home to find Baba Orji waiting by his door, drenched but calm. The old man's staff glistened with rain. Greater than, you've angered an ancestor, Baba said. And the one sleeping beneath your blood is restless. Chika frowned. Old man, speak plainly. Greater than, your desire for love is noble, Baba murmured, but there are spirits that envy what men build. The one inside you, it has tasted jealousy. Before Chika could answer, a sharp pain tore through his stomach, like something moving, twisting. He doubled over, gasping. His palms hit the muddy floor, and the ground itself seemed to pulse beneath him. Baba Orji began chanting, voice low and rhythmic. The air thickened, the lantern light dimmed, and then, silence, except for a faint hissing, not outside, but within Chika's own body. His eyes widened. What's happening to me? Baba placed a trembling hand on his shoulder. Your father made a covenant long ago, with the river goddess. To gain wealth, he offered the seed of his firstborn. You are that promise, my son. Chika stared in horror. No. Greater than, yes, Baba said softly. Your manhood, your very line, was bound to the serpent of the water. You were never meant to marry. To love you is to awaken it. Outside, thunder cracked so loud it felt like the heavens had split. Chika fell to his knees, trembling, his body burning with shame and rage. Greater than, then what am I, Baba? Human or beast? The old man didn't answer. He only looked at him with pity and fear. From that night, things began to change. The carpentry tools wouldn't stay still in his hands. Mirrors rippled when he passed. And in his sleep, he heard a woman's voice whisper. Greater than, come to the water, my son, fulfill what was promised. The days that followed were heavy with silence. Even the air around Chika felt different, thicker, charged, like a secret waiting to burst. He stopped going to the workshop. His apprentices whispered, afraid to mention his name. They said when he passed the market road, the dogs didn't bark, they whimpered. A day still came, though. Always at dusk, when the sun burned low and the world softened into orange. She would bring food, her voice trembling but firm. Greater than, you're sick, Chika. We'll go to the city. There are doctors who can help. He would only smile faintly. A doctor cannot heal what the gods have marked. She didn't believe in such things, not fully. Until the night she stayed too long. The moon was full, the crickets loud. Chika had fallen asleep, on the floor, restless, muttering. Ade sat beside him, brushing his hair from his forehead. But when her hand slid down to his chest, his body stiffened. His breathing changed, slow, reptilian. And then she saw it, a movement, a ripple under his skin, low in his belly, alive. She froze. Chika, she whispered. His eyes opened, black, not brown, and for a moment, she saw something looking through him, not from him. A voice not his own murmured, you touch what's not yours. Ade screamed and stumbled back, knocking over the lantern. The flame died, and darkness swallowed the room. When light returned, Chika was kneeling, crying, trembling like a child. Greater than, I didn't mean to, I can't control it. She ran into his arms, sobbing. Then we'll find a way. Baba Orji, a priest, anyone. But Baba Orji had already vanished. The villagers said he went into the forest 3 nights ago and never returned. Only his staff was found near the riverbank, cracked clean in 2. Word spread fast. The serpent boy has claimed another victim. Men avoided Chika. Women crossed themselves when he walked by. Even Mama Eboli began to fade, her eyes hollow, her prayers desperate. Greater than, you should go, my son, she whispered. Leave before they burn this house. Before they burn you. But Chika refused. He couldn't run anymore. Something inside him told him it was time to face whatever lived beneath his blood. One night, when the sky was the color of old charcoal, he went down to the river. The same river where his father had disappeared. The water glowed faintly, like liquid moonlight. He heard it before he saw it, a hiss, soft but endless, echoing inside his bones. Then a woman rose from the river, skin shining like scales, eyes deep as the night sea. Her hair floated like black smoke. Greater than, my son, she said, voice like silk and thunder. Why do you fight me? Chika fell to his knees. What are you? Greater than, I am what your father promised. What you carry, you are both man and memory, flesh and serpent. Deny me, and you will destroy all you love. He looked up at her, tears mixing with rain. Then what must I do? She smiled, a smile that broke the night. Greater than, bring her to me. The one whose heart you desire. Only her offering can free you. Chika's heart pounded. A days. Freedom or love, one must die for the other to live. As he stood at the riverbank, thunder rolling behind him, he whispered. Greater than, so this is the price of a father's sin. The river answered with silence. Only ripples, soft, endless, waiting. The sky was swollen with storm. Thunder walked the clouds like an angry god, and the village hid behind locked doors. Even the goats were silent that night. Chika stood outside Adaze's house, soaked to the bone, his face ghostly in the lightning flashes. He hadn't slept in 2 days. The serpent inside him was awake now, restless, whispering things no human should hear. Greater than, she is the key, bring her, and you will be free. The voice coiled around his mind like smoke. He tried to resist, but his body trembled, his veins felt hot, and his eyes, they glowed faintly, reflecting the storm. Inside, Adaze was praying. She had dreamt of water, blood, and a woman's laughter echoing through the river. When she heard the knock, she froze. Greater than, Adaze, Chika's voice cracked through the rain. Please, come out, I need you. Her mother whispered, don't open that door, child. But Adaze's heart refused reason. She wrapped her shawl around her shoulders and stepped into the storm. Chika looked broken, like a man at war with himself. Greater than, it wants you, he said, trembling. The river, it wants your blood to free me. She stared at him through the rain. Then let it keep its curse. I won't let you lose yourself. He fell to his knees. You don't understand, Adaze. If I resist, it will kill everyone. My mother, you, me, greater than, then fight it. She cried. You are not your father's sin. The serpent's voice hissed in his skull, she defies us. Take her, Chika screamed, clutching his head, rolling in the mud as the storm raged. Lightning struck the palm tree nearby, splitting it open. Adaze ran to him, grabbing his face, her tears mixing with the rain. Greater than, look at me, Chika. You are not a beast. For a moment, her voice broke through. The world slowed. Then, silence. Chika rose, eyes black as coal. When he spoke, it wasn't his voice. Greater than, she has chosen death. The serpent mark pulsed across his skin, glowing faintly under the rain. The ground trembled. The river answered. Adaze stood her ground. Her voice was steady, even in terror. Greater than, if my death will free your soul, then let it be love that ends the curse, not hate. She stepped forward and placed her hand on his chest. At that touch, the serpent shrieked from within him, a sound like 1,000 hissing echoes. Chika convulsed, light pouring from his eyes, mouth, every pore. And then, a blinding flash. When it faded, he was lying still. The mark was gone. Adaze's body lay beside him, her face peaceful, lips curved into a faint smile. The storm began to calm. The wind softened. From the river came a low, distant cry, not of anger, but release. Baba Orji's cracked staff, long thought lost, floated to the shore. The old man's voice echoed on the wind. Greater than, no covenant is stronger than love freely given. Chika opened his eyes. Weak, human, free. But the price of freedom had a name, Adaze. He held her close, whispering through broken tears. Greater than, you gave me life by giving yours, may the gods carry your spirit in light. Above them, dawn began to break. The sky turned gold, and the river stilled, as if the goddess herself bowed her head. The sun rose slow that morning, shy, pale, and trembling through mist. Dew clung to the grass like tears that refused to fall. The storm had passed, but its memory still hummed in the earth. When the villagers came to the riverbank, they found Chika sitting beside Adaze's body. He didn't speak, he didn't weep, he just sat, still as the stones, eyes fixed on the calm water. Mama Eboli pushed through the crowd, her wrapper soaked in morning dew. She fell beside her son, touching his face with trembling fingers. Greater than, my child, she whispered, what have you done? He turned to her slowly. I ended what father began. His voice was hollow, like something left behind in an empty house. They buried Adaze beneath the old baobab tree, the same place lovers once carved their names in secret. The whole village attended. Even Chief Obadiah, her father, walked behind the coffin barefoot, his pride buried with his only child. No one spoke of the serpent. No one dared, but everyone saw how the river no longer shimmered strangely at night. The air felt lighter, freer, as if some invisible chain had been broken. Chika stopped working with wood. Instead, he built small stools and gave them to children, saying, "Sit. Rest. Remember that every burden can be set down." Mama Eboli would often watch him from the doorway, whispering her prayers quietly, not for protection this time, but for forgiveness. Some nights, Chika would walk to the river. He never went near the edge. He would just sit, listening to the gentle hum of the water, waiting for a sign, a whisper, but it never came. Only once, months later, when the moon was high, he thought he heard Adesa's voice on the wind. Greater than, love is not about who stays, but who sets you free. He closed his eyes, letting the tears fall. And when he opened them, the water shimmered softly. Not with danger, but with peace. The curse had ended, but so had innocence. In Obinagu, years passed like gentle rain on red earth. The story of Chika and Adese became a whisper, told by mothers to their daughters when they spoke of love and destiny. They said a man once carried a serpent in his blood. But it was love, not fear, that tamed it. Chika grew old quietly. He never remarried, never left the village. Each morning, he poured libation by the river, a single calabash of water, offered to the goddess who once claimed his soul. And every evening, he sat under the baobab tree, near Adesa's grave, watching the sunset burn into gold. Children would gather around him, asking, "Papa Chika, tell us the story again, the one about the river and the woman who defied the gods." He would smile, his voice low and gentle. "Greater than, my children, power without love is a curse. But love that endures pain, that one can rewrite fate itself." They would listen, wide-eyed, as fireflies danced in the dusk. And when the night grew thick and stars began to hum above, he always ended the same way, softly, like a prayer. "Greater than, the sins of a father may live in a son's blood. But the courage of a woman can wash even that blood clean." Then he would fall silent, eyes glinting with memory, as the wind from the river sighed through the trees. Neither serpent nor storm anymore. Only peace. Moral. Greater than some inherit wealth, others inherit wounds. But true freedom begins when one faces what hides inside, and chooses love over fear.